Right now, it be like now two presidents now we get for Nigeria now, Tinubu and Wike. We don't know who they lead Nigeria. Right now, everybody they cry. All pro for Abuja as Wike don't order, made task force, made they destroy over 500 impounded commercial motorcycle. When he knows na this motorcycle, now this people take dey chop. Una remember the interview when he do, when he throw mouth gift Peter Obi, say if they re-vote am, why he be say he no win? Hey, this one can cause uproar. He no even stop for there. He can't throw mouth give PDP. He say be PDP. He say they not get level. He say na wetin dey in mind na him go do. They not get right to even take discipline and suspend them. Now so PDP can't run come out to they can't give Wike woto. In fact, the koboko where they take flog Wike, they fake go soak am for kerosene. They deal with am for the interview. I go let am play, make una watch am, my people. The thing not stop there. After this one, just see bolo for. We can't say and say since Tinubu enter. Now from one trouble to another, he never see chance to breathe. He himself na he need that breath. Not be the poor, na he need them. Because one trouble never finish, we dey enter another one. Right now, if Tinubu don't go, they give condolence to South African president over the tragic wey happen for their country for Johannesburg. Why he be say na him own tenor, na trouble don't take surrender. In fact, it come full like river, my people. After this one, don't see bolo for now. They will consider yes, say Tinubu can they call Africans copycats. Say now wait till this African country do, now the other one go do. So he don't refer military as copycat. They come for you, Tinubu. This word where you talk, so you go explain. Forget to say if they look for copycats, now your hand 9 a day. We never see forget wetin dey happen for Chicago State University. That one dey grand and all the forgery, all the primary and secondary school where you not go, where they not fit identify anyone. That one dey grand. In fact, Ned Media analyze everything. I go still let that video play. Mokuna still watch wetin Ned Media they go find out, and other journalists where they find out where they can show us. I go still let that one play gidigba. Because of the word wey Tinubu talk say military na copycats, na there the Nigerian army their oga patapata come call all the soldiers together, say come, if you not dey loyal to President Tinubu, make you comot now, make you comot. Because right now I be like say Tinubu don dey fear. That is why he can't talk to this head, make it talk to the many soldiers, say anyone they plan coup, make they comot now, because if he find that, he go buy them. After they don't arrest the Gabon president, now so they can see plenty money for a house, so for a pikin own, see money, wait till they want his money to do, people they suffer. Hey my people, now wow. Now see bad government, everybody must to collect last. In own time to collect, now be this. Tinubu they come, another bad president, their own time they come to. My people, this one and every other news where I bring come well packaged. The reply way PDP give Wike. The meeting where Femi Falana and the Labour Congress then get is still dey this video. Ned Media own is still dey here. My people, this video they well packaged. Make you watch out from the beginning to the end. My people, make una dey try, make una dey like the video. I no resemble Tinubu, I no be Tinubu. I beg, make una dey try, make una dey like am. I go get the view. Una no dey like my video. I use God beg una. I no resemble Tinubu. I beg. This one a Bod TV, but we will analyze all the trends where they happen. Area, hello, wow, say oh. I beg, make una like, share, and subscribe.
How does that interview come to you?
Well, he said a lot of things. The aspect of FCT being a state is an issue that needs clarification. The aspect of the demolition and what is actually the master plan, what structures are on the master plan is too. And of course, this one, the aspect of the party. Why we hardly react generally to what he said is because he loves drama. Everybody knows that, you know. And what he's saying, he's daring nobody can suspend him and the rest. Believe me, the quietness of the party is not weakness. For anybody listening tonight that sees what he's doing and then the party is quiet about it, it is not weakness. The party knows what it is doing. At the appropriate time, he will not only be suspended, he will be expelled. Take that one to the bank.
We will expel him. He says that He's gotten the he has said rightly that he's still a member of the PDP. Does that offend any wing or any persons in the PDP that is still a member of the PDP serving in an APC government?
In all political parties, I think even in APC and in the PDP, there's a provision in the party's constitution that says where you have taken steps that are completely antithetical to the party's constitution, you stand expelled. That one is even there, self-evident. Now, he is a member.
So he said in that interview that he wrote to the governor of his state and he's gotten the consent. He wrote to his ward, he's gotten the consent. He wrote to his local government, he got his consent. And he also wrote to the zonal leadership of the PDP and he got a consent, and they're buying that he should serve based on invitation from President Tinubu.
He's a stakeholder of the party. If you look at the constitution of the party, even when he talks about the body that is empowered by law to conduct primaries, even in the states, it is the National Working Committee. All these places he said he wrote the letter to are people you control. I mean, did you expect the chairman of his state, who didn't even work for us in the campaign, to say no to him, or the governor or any other person? Let him tell the world he wrote to the national body, and let him show the letter that the national body asked him to go ahead. Secondly, you see, there is nothing wrong in a member of PDP working with Tinubu's government as long as that decision is reached by the party. You know, the party can say, let us sit and constitute a government of national unity and work. The party hasn't done that, and is not the national chairman, neither is he the chairman board of trustees. I think everybody knows that he practically manipulated a lot of people, and then he had them walk in his path until he achieved what he has achieved, and they are now in the valley of decision and in the wilderness. Nobody has qualms about it. In fact, if you ask me, I see Wike as somebody who can do better as a minister of the Federal Republic, because capacity, Wike has it, and he has the potential to bring development. I think the problem is whether Wike wants to do that or not. Stemming from those things he told you about demolition, it is very interesting when they come and they say, and the idea is because when Erufai was made minister at the time, he went into this demolition. So each time you say minister of the FCT, the first thing that comes to the mind of the people is demolition. If FCT is not like Ministry of Works, it's an administration. There are very many important things than demolition that makes up administration of the FCT. Let us even start with the demolition. He said he wants to go back to the original master plan. If we may talk about the original master plan, let me tell you, Mr. Sheon, that the Aso Villa that seats the president, the seat of power, is not in the original master plan. It must go down. Because these were the things he was saying. If it is not in the master plan, it must go down. So Aso Villa must go down. Secondly, all the military barracks that you see within the FCT are not in the original master plan. In fact, the places where the military barracks are in the original plan, master plan, was supposed to be a bossa and a central parks for recreational facilities. Then the military barracks must go down. Thirdly, the famous Asokoro you are hearing at the extension, where all the governors in Nigeria, if not most of them, have either the liaison office or their private homes. They are not in the original plan. They must go down. There are many federal government assets and buildings in strategic places that are not in the original master plan.
Do you have the master plan?
I don't, but it is of knowledge. I mean, this thing were discussed over and over. Erufai talked about it. Certain association of town planners in the FCT sat and talked about it. If you are coming to the FCT, to me, what should come to your mind? President Tinubu is making all the effort to tell Nigerians, look, I am responsible, I asked for the job. And he told his ministers, I will not hesitate to sack you, you must do the work. He wants to say, I am coming with the idea of peace to do good. I think that what Governor Wike is saying is antithetical to what he's saying. For example, Governor Wike quoted what President Tinubu said at the NBA. I want to ride in Abuja Rail. Did you hear says, I want to demolish people's building? And he talked about most of the buildings to be demolished are that of establishment and not that of the poor. Absurdity. The shanties he's talking about, the restaurants he's talking about, the parking garage that he's talking about. Who are the people operating there, Mr. Sheon? They are the same people that the policy of this government is trying to give life to them because they have been further thrown down into deeper poverty. Now, in advanced countries, what they do is they will come with a massive plan to create an alternative for the people, relocate them, and then demolish. You have to come with the mindset of building and not destroying. The scripture says, the dash cometh not but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. He said, but I have come so they might have life. My idea of government policy, if it is not people-oriented, if it is not with the mindset that the people should have their lives better. Mr. Shaun, you are in the FCT. The medical facilities and medical services within the FCT is awful. There's a lot to be done because the federal capital sits not only the cosmopolitan Nigeria, but it sits the embassies of foreign government within the FCT. Education in the FCT is so poor. There are no schools. People don't get value for the money within the FCT. Let's talk about transportation, Mr. Shaun. You see every part of this city in disarray. A minister who wants to work should come up with the mindset, I'm going to affect these areas. You should be thinking about transport system that will alleviate the poverty of the people. You should be talking about building mass. Do you know 62% of the estates built within the FCT are not in the original master plan? Those who live in this estate, majority of them are government workers. So if you truly want to restore original master plan, by tomorrow morning we should be seeing you demolishing the Aso Villa. Right. We should be seeing you demolishing the barracks.
So the Aso Villa is not on the master plan?
It's not in the master plan.
Okay, let me ask you. He has said that there are a lot of people who are built on the greens, on drainages,
right,
and on the pathway of ecological cycle of the FCT.
Right.
And it says all of these things will not be tolerated. He spoke to me also about the plan to the buses, about 300 or so of them that are procured by the FCT, but they were nowhere to be found. And he has said that they must be brought out and they must work. And that in the next few months, that those buses will work. He said in the next 1 year, the rail system in Abuja will work. Does it satisfy you in any way, considering the fact that he is of the opinion that when you are out to do good, criticisms will come?
Yes, but you see, he's mixing everything, Mr. Shaun. Look at it this way. Those things that will bring good to the people are in the long term, in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year. But the destruction of lives and property is in the immediate.
Okay, so
does this sound like somebody has good intention?
So can we wait? So those things that he has said are illegal. How do you hope that he could handle them?
So this is,
if there are illegal erection of properties in areas where they are defacing the city based on the master plan. Abuja is a very young city.
Correct.
What would you have suggested that it does?
So this is what I would suggest, because they say the change starts with me. It's a cliche for Nigeria, and they say whatever you do, government should show leadership by force itself. It should start by them, because it's all about illegality. If Aso Villa is not built on, is not in the master plan, it is illegal. Why don't you prove to the world you mean well by destroying Aso Villa? But the reason why successive governments have not done that is because there are certain wrongs that have already been committed. They are thinking of how to redesign. When Buhari was in power, I remember that time FCDA was coming up with a proposal. The whole of that Lugbe that it goes down, all these places where you have the estates, they were going to destroy them. He said, when you do that, you throw families into problem. What do? We see how we can bring alternative for the good of the people. So you mentioned the initial ones about the sewage, about these places. I agree. They have to all go down. But to show good intention and that you are not coming with a vendetta spirit would actually a political opponent in mind. When you think of that, what are you supposed to do as a government that is people-oriented? Provide alternative.
Is the opposition thinking that there are possibility of a witch hunt?
No, not possibility. That is the mission. That is his mission. The core objective for his being in the FCT is to achieve three things. One, intimidate and impoverish the opponent. Harass the opponent. And you will see in the coming, you see this thing we're talking will look like what I'm saying is not true. All we need is to be patient and see the coming days. And then number two, to use the instrument of the, in this Machiavelli principles, where they talk about the fox and yes, it's something about stick and the fork, to use those reward system and bring people. They are all building towards a one-party state in Nigeria. All these African countries you are seeing this problem is because most of these leaders are running
practically what looks like a one-party state. And Tinubu has not told Nigeria he wants to fight Nigeria. Every day he calls me to say he wants good. So why should people appoint him? Permit me, Mr. Shewon, in 1 minute to address this issue of FCT. Because people massage his ego by making him feel like he is the governor of the FCT. He is not. A minister of the FCT is a glorified commissioner constitutionally. That is why if FCT were to be a state, FCT will carry the characteristics, functionality, and the capacity of a state. So if FCT were to be a state, Council of State meeting, the minister will be like the governor. He will attend a National Economic Council meeting. The Constitution in Schedule 1, it states the names of the states of the federation and their local government. FCT is not there. FCT has 1 senator, and FCT is larger than Bayelsa. Bayelsa is 3 senators. Even those who wanted to go to court and argue in this election that FCT is 37 states have run foul of the law. Because the law is clear, the express mention of the one is the exclusion of the other. The section 279 that says, or 290 that says for the purposes of this section, FCT will be treated as if it were a state. It's talking about administration. Even in that place, it says the president and the National Assembly are the one that administer FCT, not the minister and National Assembly. So FCT minister is a glorified commissioner. We have to put this in proper context so that he does not even, the first place he will have problem is even with Tinubu, his principal. Because right now, the way he's been carried and the way he's been lowered, as if we have 2 presidents in the FCT. And I don't have anything against it, like I said from the beginning. He has capacity among all the ministers of President Tinubu. To me, at the moment, Governor Wike has proven to be the most effective one. We have to give it to him. When you want to be objective, we have to be objective. But I said, whether he wants to do good or he wants to do the other one, is up to him. For now, what he's flying, the kite is flying, is that of terrorizing the city. Have you not looked about the child mortality within the FCT, mortality within the FCT? See the robbery because of poor transportation system. Fuel subsidy has just been removed, thereby making life excruciating and difficult for the people of the FCT.
Right. So one of the, on the final note, one of the things that he said, FCT was not captured in the palliative that were being disbursed, the funds disbursed for the state. 5 billion are being earmarked, 2 billion disbursed already. And he said, as soon as he got into office, he went to the president to say, FCT is part of Nigeria, but FCT is not captured. And immediately the president has approved that 2 billion also should be given to the FCT. And he says in his own mind, he felt that FCT needs a proper transportation. About 70% of that will go to the FCT. As a final word from you tonight, you said he has capacity, but you think that the intentions might not be right. Yeah. But then, where do we go from here, from your own perspective?
So where we go from where is he should calm down. In life, you can achieve greatness by not fighting. Everything in life is not fighting. You see, when you are fighting, you are creating more problems. You need to, when you attain certain age, you should have good health, you should be happy, you should be peaceful with people. You can achieve that. Now, this money that are given to, so what is, Mr. John, with the greatest respect, the interview you had with him, has he given you a clearly defined agenda for transport system? He said there shall be in 9 months, everything in 9 months, but demolition now. Does it suggest somebody who comes to the people-oriented policy? Tinubu has said over and over, President Tinubu, he wants to run a people-oriented government. The danger, before you close, Mr. Shewon, is that when you are a servant of the master and you create a problem, the impact will be on your master and not yourself. Tinubu needs to do more than enough to win the heart of Nigeria. You know where we're coming from this election. Yeah. You cannot do that by terrorizing the people in the FCT.
Laugh out loud, everyone. Bola Tinubu's 44-year-old lie has just been busted. One of the documents they've always used to prove that Bola Tinubu actually attended Chicago State University is this yearbook. And when you see this yearbook, you say, hey, that's the end. There's nothing else to prove, because it is found on Chicago State University's own website. If the university published it on their website, there's nothing else to prove again. It is real. He attended the university. But that's not the whole story. Let's take it one by one. The internet didn't exist in 1979, neither did it exist in 1940. But documents dating back hundreds of years can be downloaded from the internet. That's why a Nigerian set out to find the hard copy of the yearbook that Chicago State University published in 1979 or 1980, where their web developers supposedly got the photographs from. What he found in Chicago Public Library is shocking.
I'm in the kitchen right now. About to cook, man. About to cook something for us, baby.
He found a Chicago State University yearbook of 1980, 81, 82, all condensed in one huge book. And Bola Tinubu nowhere to be found. Even the one they spelled Tov, the one they misspelled, was nowhere to be found in the yearbooks of 1980, 81, and 82. You'll be wondering why they are searching for the 1980 yearbook when he supposedly graduated in 1979. It's simply because, according to Chicago State University's website, they didn't publish a yearbook in 1979. That's why Tinubu features in the 1980 version. If that's true that they didn't publish for 1979, that would mean that all students from 1979 will feature in 1980. Except that's not the whole story. The next revelation is still shocking. Another Nigerian found a way to access the hidden 1979 yearbook online. As you can see, while scrolling, he couldn't find any name that resembles Bola Tinubu. If his name can be found in the hard copy of 1980, and it can be found on the online version of 1979, and if it is true that they didn't publish a yearbook in 1979, that means someone added him in the online version of 1980 published on Chicago State University's website. Yes, there's a high chance that someone did that for him. Let's assume that's the true situation. That means this case might be heading to a criminal investigation. This brings us to what Atiku is seeking from the U.S. District Court in Chicago. But before we see that, let's see Tinubu's history of lies and cover-ups starting from 1992. In 1992, when Tinubu contested for the senatorial seat in Lagos West Senatorial District under the Social Democratic Party, while filing his particulars with the National Electoral Commission, he claimed to have obtained a BSc in accounting with Chicago State University. Yes, back in 1992, few politicians paid attention to the qualifications of fellow politicians who were contesting for elections. They were all interested in chasing the military back to the barracks. Now, compare the discipline to the one in the certificate he filed in 2022 for the presidential election. In 1992, he was BSc Accounting from the same university. 30 years later, 2022, it became Business and Administration. It's not even Business Administration. There's an "and" in between the two words. There's no such course offered by Chicago State University. So how did it happen? How was he able to go back in time to change his discipline in Chicago State University? Now you might be thinking, hey, how did he do it? How is that possible? But that's not all. This is actually the second time he's changing his discipline. In 1999, the certificate he filed while contesting for governor in Lagos State, it was BSc in Economics from the same Chicago State University. Hey! Let's make a quick recap. In 1992, he claimed BSc in Accounting. In 1999, he claimed BSc in Economics. In 2022, he claimed Business and Administration. One man, one university. His first term as governor of Lagos State was marred by certificate scandals. At the time, he was accused of presenting a certificate from a fake university in Toronto. That Toronto certificate scandal nearly cost him his office. But the person that saved him was the former Vice President Osibajo, who was at the time the Lagos State Attorney General. That's not all. The primary school he claimed to have attended while filing his particulars in 1999 was proven to be a lie. Also, the secondary school he claimed to have attended in Ibadan was also proven to be a lie. In fact, this one is an interesting story. When the school heard that Bola Tinubu said he graduated from their secondary school, they started planning an old boys association get-together. They wanted to make it big because one of their old boys supposedly became a governor. But during the planning stages, many of the old boys, when they heard the name Bola Tinubu, none of them could recognize him. People started asking the year he graduated from the school so that they can locate his classmates. But in the end, they couldn't find anyone who recognized Bola Tinubu. It became so embarrassing for the school to the extent that they had to cancel the ceremony. Interestingly, when the Lagos State House of Assembly questioned him why he claimed to have attended a school in Ibadan when he obviously didn't attend the school, he claimed to have dropped out, that his parents were poor to sponsor him, that he suffered in his youthful years. But he still didn't say the year he dropped out from school. This would have enabled people to trace his classmates. From tracing his classmates, they can now trace his origin. Because up till today, no one has ever come out to say that Bola Tinubu was his classmate in any school, be it primary or secondary school in Nigeria. That's not the end. There's this letter the FBI wrote to the EFCC in reply to the request they made. This was in 2011 under the leadership of Lamode. This explains why the SSS raided the EFCC's office. They knew the existence of this letter. That's why they wanted to pack all the evidence. In fact, up till today, the former EFCC chairman is still in their detention. Maybe they couldn't find that document. That's why they are still holding him without trial. The letter is blurred, but we've made out some text, as you can see. The FBI told them in this letter that they have gone to the Chicago State University and they said that no Bola Tinubu was a student, that he didn't attend the university at the time. No revelation can be better than this letter. Now, let's see what Atiku is seeking in the U.S. District Court in Chicago. He is fighting a deposition request. He wants the court to order Chicago State University to appoint a high-ranking officer in their registry department who Atiku's lawyer will question under oath. This is where it gets interesting. You know what it means to answer questions to a lawyer under oath. That means the person can be held for perjury if the person lies. And who will be willing to lie for someone in faraway Nigeria? No matter the dollars, no matter the influence, no one will risk going to prison and risk the person's career just because he wants to protect someone in faraway Nigeria. So the kind of questions the lawyer will ask will be something like, are you the one? Or did the university issue Tinubu this certificate? That's talking about the forged one. When a lawyer asks this kind of question, he'll be expecting a straight answer of yes or no. There's nothing like, hey, it happened this way, happened. Just answer the question. Did the university issue this certificate? It's very obvious that they didn't. That's all they need to prove that this is actually a forged certificate, that the university didn't issue it, which according to Nigerian laws means a straight-up disqualification of any candidate who forges a certificate. There are many of such questions that Atiku's lawyers will ask the person that Chicago State University will appoint, like why did Tinubu spend very short time to acquire a degree in Chicago State University? What changed? How was it possible? Because according to the university themselves, they can't award a degree to someone who spent just over a year in the university. How was it possible in Tinubu's case? So many questions they will ask, including the records, the admission records they are demanding. They want to see how he paid, what method of payment, his international passport he supposedly came to the United States with. A lot of questions. They will need to answer them. And why all these questions are very important is because even if someone is covering for Tinubu in the university, there are thousands of documents that you cannot forge and manipulate in order to prove that this person was a former student. That's basically what Atiku is trying to prove. So you can understand where Atiku is going. Apart from all the grounds that Tinubu can be disqualified by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, imagine when he drops this bombshell evidence. There will be no hiding place. It will prove that his life has been a lie all these years. It will prove that he didn't even meet the minimum qualification before contesting the presidential election. So we'll be looking forward to how the court will decide, and the judgment day is upon us.
The Nigeria Labour Congress is leading this conversation on the state of the economy in its 2023 National Symposium. Human rights activist Mr. Falana is leading the discourse, and he has some advice for the ruling elites, especially in view of the recent military coups across Africa.
And for here, please, Honorable Senator, please be careful. Discipline Senator, be careful. Don't provoke Nigerians to mutiny. Please. Because some of the things going on there, and we're in trouble. Sir, 70 billion naira for palliatives for 469 people. And when we say no, they say no. It's for facelift of the National Assembly. No, sir. 3 years ago, 37 billion naira was the amount for facelift of the National Assembly. That contract has not been fully executed. There is no review of the contract. So you can't talk of 70 billion naira for facelift. Secondly, 40 billion naira to buy exotic cars now for leadership of the National Assembly. It's not going to be allowed. The latest provocative news from the National Assembly is that 54 billion naira has been earmarked for constituency projects for 360 members of the House of Reps. It has come to 150 million per person. Under these austere conditions in town.
The panel conversation focused on the theme, which is the Nigerian economy and the crisis of survival, robbing the poor to pay the rich. One of the issues that comes to the fore is the impact of fuel subsidy removal.
You share 5 trucks of rice to a local government, they won't get one cup. If we accept the position of the Bureau of Statistics that we have 133 million Nigerians that are multidimensionally poor before the subsidy removal, and after the subsidy removal, the number must have increased or doubled. Those are the fringes became poor overnight. But even if we were to take it without argument, and you multiply 5 billion by 36 states and Abuja, you get about 185 billion. If you divide it by 133 million people that are multidimensionally poor, you will get up to 1,500 naira. Is that a palliative? No. Comrades, on and on. And you take the palliative and give it to governors. Any money you give to governors is not meant for us.
Production has collapsed. We have become, as it were, because before SAR, we were in a situation in which light industry, basic consumer production, had taken roots. And we were growing to develop into areas in which we would have medium-scale industrialization, machine tools production, and all that. But all that vanished. Any government that did what the Tinubu government did, to suddenly raise the price of fuel by such a tumultuous amount without a plan, does not deserve to be called a government.
Well, the aggregate submission at this symposium of the Nigeria Labour Congress is that subsidy in itself is not a bad thing. However, how governments go about subsidy is what is key, bringing to the fore the fact that bigger economies like the United States of America subsidizes healthcare through the Affordable Care Act, and Germany has just voted hundreds of millions of euros to subsidize the use of energy by its citizens.